Attention bobsled riders! You will soon be embarking on a thrilling podcast down the icy slopes of the Matterhorn. So please remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the bobsled at all times. Auf Wiedersehen!
Hello, yodelers. We are the Matterhorn Yodelers. I am your host today, Jackie, and we have...
G5th.
A man of mystery. Secrets. I'm secrets today.
And...
Father Yodeler.
Yes, and today we are doing a report.
Don't mind me. I'm just doing engineer stuff.
Oh, you threw me off.
You just looked weird when you your neck. You're like wanting to like microphone your neck there.
You threw off my groove.
You're gonna start gurgling.
That's
Sorry.
pretty close to yodeling.
I thought we had technical difficulties. No, it's just JP throwing me off.
That's what I do best.
Yeah. But today we are going to be talking about a trip report.
It's a secret
Trip
trip.
report.
A secret trip.
Did I go on a trip and not know it?
No.
Yeah, you enjoyed it.
Good.
You slept
Oh,
through
by the way, you owe me $500 for that thing we did on the trip.
Oh, man. I don't know if I like this trip.
G5th took a trip to Disneyland.
I did.
And
We kept it a
you
secret
kept it a secret.
from
Pretty much almost everyone.
a lot of people. We didn't want the word to get to my daughter. She's turning 5. And I was like, what would be an awesome birthday?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, let's go to Disneyland, and
and
make this memorable.
beforehand, she was in love with Disneyland since the last time she went. A little over a year.
Yeah, a little over a year, and she was obsessed. Like, oh, Disneyland's the best, and she watches YouTube videos. And the Tiana ride came out, and she's like, "Oh, I want to ride these rides. These are awesome." And I was like, "Well, let's make this an awesome birthday." And we kind of wanted to go on a trip because our last day from the trip we all went before,
It got rained out.
It rained out. And we did the princess package and everything, and we got soaked to the point where halfway through the day we went back to the hotel, dried off, took a little nap, and then went back to the parks. And we just felt like, oh, we got a day stolen from us.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it just threw off the kid. Like, our oldest, she does not like getting wet. She gets a little wet and she is done.
She's finished, yeah.
And so I'm fine going to the parks when it's raining. It's no big deal.
Right.
But
You've been conditioned by Father Yodeler.
Yes.
and also working at the park.
Yes. Working in Florida does.
You're like 3:00. Here comes the rain, and of
Yep.
course I've got the outside position,
Yep.
and I get dumped on.
And then you tell all the guests to get out from under the umbrellas. This is not your umbrella. This is my umbrella.
I don't remember any of my children complaining about me keeping them at Disneyland.
I do when it was like 11:00, and we've been
Oh,
there
at
since
11.
7.
I remember that.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
nice.
I'm done, Dad.
11, yes.
I'm done. I can't even walk. I'm dragging myself through the queue at Thunder Mountain going, do we have to do this again for the 7th time today?
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
I am guilty of that.
Yes.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going, so you're here too.
So you decided to surprise your daughter. How was the planning process of surprising her?
The logistic part was easy.
Yeah.
Everything's done online.
Yep.
The hardest part is just keeping it yourself. So we're always
'Cause
like,
you're always so excited.
Was it hard to keep it a secret? Like, was part of you just wanting to, like, say?
I didn't want to because I know my daughter, and kids become so obsessed.
Children do not understand the concept of time at
Oh,
that
gosh,
young age.
no.
Because as soon as you say, like, for example, you would be like, hey, this weekend we're going to go see your cousins
For 5 days
for
straight.
5 days. Are we going to go see them today? Is today's the day? Are we going today? They don't understand. So, like, you throw we're going to Disneyland, forget about it.
I did not want to experience that. And so we did that a little bit last year where we told we're going to Disneyland, and it was just like for a month nonstop. You're like, I'm not doing this. So that's where the surprise part came.
Yep. We did that once. So
I learned from you where you're saying you cannot tell them, even on the road trip, you cannot tell them where you're going. And so the way we did it when we were driving there, because you get in the car and you're like, why are we all getting in the car? I told her, like, your gift is delayed and we have to go pick it up or we won't get it in time. And so we have to go there. And she's like, do we have to drive home after this? And I was like, no, we'll stay at a hotel. And so the hotel that we got is by Knott's Berry Farm. I wanted to be far away from Disneyland. I didn't want anything close to it.
You weren't afraid that she was going to see Knott's Berry Farm and say, it's Disneyland.
No, because we came from the north side. We drove in, we were a little early, and we stopped off in Fullerton. We went to like Empire Play Place. So it's a big giant play going around inside. And so we got their like squirms and their energy out from being pent up in the car for 6 hours to where when it was time for bed, they would crash. Right. And it worked. It was quite effective.
Yeah.
And giving my child melatonin for the first time. She was like, what's this? It's like, oh, it helps your mind relax. And like within 30 minutes, she's like, Dad, I'm tired. And I'm all like, this stuff's magic.
Yep.
This is very powerful. Do not abuse this.
No.
But yeah, we got her to go to sleep, which my daughter's always fought sleep. And I knew if she knew we were going to Disneyland,
no way she was going to sleep.
No way she was going to sleep. And that meant I wasn't going to sleep.
Oh, that brings back happy memories of when I was a child and I knew we were going to Disneyland the next day. Yep. Did not sleep.
You just can't. You're just so excited.
Yep.
Even as an adult, I was like trying to go to bed. Like everyone fell asleep, but it was like 9:30 and I'm all like, oh man, I'm going to Disneyland. This is going to be exciting.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm like, you need to go to sleep. And I kept waking up and they're like, is it time yet? No, it's still dark.
Yeah.
I got to go back to sleep. You need sleep. You want sleep.
Yeah.
But we're going to Disneyland.
And then you look at that little jar of gummy melatonin and you're like,
no, I was pretty good. So yeah. We stayed at another hotel, and you could see all the other families that were there at Knott's Berry Farm. It was like $150 to stay at a hotel.
Sure.
Off there, so it was reasonably priced.
Yeah, we've stayed at hotels over there when we go to because it's vastly cheaper than around Disneyland. So
and we were only like 5 minutes away. You take the 91 and you're there
right
within
there, and
the 91 to the 5.
If you've already committed that you're going to pay for parking, like there's no point of staying near.
Yeah.
The Disneyland resort. Might as well 5 miles away and pay $100 a night at a decent hotel.
How much is parking now?
I didn't, so this is what we did was originally we were going to drive back home. And then I was all like, you know what? I don't want to do that. So we went and like that weekend or that Friday, I was like, you know what? Let's get a hotel. And so we got the hotel that we went to when we were kids, the Castle one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
was it the Marriott one?
Or
was it
Sheraton.
Sheraton.
Was it Sheraton?
Yeah.
You know what? It hasn't changed.
Yeah.
It's the
It's
exact,
the exact
same. It's like a time capsule of the 2000s. So they have
it gets a lot of critiques because it hasn't changed.
It hasn't changed
30 years.
And you know what? It was just as cheap as the hotel we were at, and I was like, "That's good." Hopefully this place hasn't gone downhill. No,
so you got
preserved.
the shuttle. That's right. They have a shuttle.
They have a shuttle there, and they have parking there. It's like $30, and I was like, "Well,
it's the same."
I'm gonna have to pay for overnight parking anyways," and they validated it for me since I was staying there, so I didn't have to go to the parking lot, knowing that I'm gonna come back here at 11 o'clock. So I saved myself all the trouble of everything. So that's what we ended up doing was we drove there, parked in their parking lot. They have like a guard gate, so it's not open to the public or anything like that. And we got on their shuttle. They dropped us off where all the other Disney buses go, and we rolled right up. We told my daughter before we got in the shuttle because I knew it was like everyone's decked out in Disney stuff. Everyone's going to talk about Disney stuff. And I go, so we took the wheelchair, which the kids are in love with.
Yes.
They think it's like the best thing. Like we have it in the garage right now, and before our kids are going to daycare, my daughter gets in it, my youngest one, and she's all like, go. She's all excited. And we're like, no. And then she just cries because she doesn't get to have fun sitting next to her sister in the wheelchair. So we had them both sit there and we did a video. And we're like, Hera, for your birthday, we're going to go to Disneyland. And Hera's like, what? My youngest one is like, she knows something exciting's going on. So she has this like, what? What's going on? This is exciting. So it's really cute in that moment. And like,
she's only one.
yeah, the youngest one's only one, but she just knows something exciting's going. So she wants to participate with the excitement. And so Hera's like, whoa. And we're like, where did you
hasn't hit her yet.
Yeah, and then we tell her, like, well, what did you want to go do? Or what did you think we were going to do? And she's like, I thought we were going to go see a real-life unicorn. And I was like, whoa, that's a tough expectation to meet right there. I was like, man, good thing we're going to Disneyland. Anything else would have been terribly disappointing, I'd say.
Unicorn.
I love that, though.
I was like, whoa, that's a tough one.
I saw the video, and if I have permission, I'll post it on our social media.
Yeah.
But I just love her reaction when you told her, and she's like, oh my gosh.
So we get in line, we get on the bus, and we're all rolling up, and Hera's just like, she's quiet. She's just like, I'm going to Disneyland. And then we get into the gate, we take the picture and in the front, and we're just trying to like soak it in that like we are in the park. And it's that great feeling of like, I've made it.
Yes.
All the work, I finally made it. And so it was good. My wife's a big picture person, so we're taking the picture in the front. Even though Hera's like, I don't want to do it, I'm shy. And you're like, okay. Goofy was out front, so we saw Goofy because we have a reservation at the plaza.
Oh, for breakfast?
So we did that.
So good.
And so we did that, and then we saw Goofy, and Goofy did this whole bow thing. And Hera's like, Goofy fell asleep. Bye, Goofy. And then she just laughed. Like, and like Goofy was trying to be cute, like bowing down, because my daughter's dressed in Elsa's princess costume that she got last year. We're like, we're going to get our money's worth, even though she's grown like 4 inches and it looks like the dress has shrunk, but it still fit her, besides her ankles being shown. So we took that picture, and then we went to the front of the castle, got the picture early, because like that's when the park opened and everyone just flooded all the rides, and we're like, we're not here for the rides just yet. And then we had a little time, and we went and did the carousel. My daughter loves carousels. And so we rode that, and it got her in the spirit of it. And it's like, okay, now we're going to go do our character breakfast. And we went in there, and I didn't know what the prices were for the plaza. $50 plate for adults and $30 for children. And it's free for kids under 3.
Right.
Yeah. And so you're dropping about $140 for everything. And
did it fill you up, or was it
I made sure to eat as much as I
Was
could.
it a buffet?
It's buffet.
Yeah, it's buffet.
So you walk in and you get to pick, like, I want this, and it's breakfast food. How can you really screw up breakfast food? Except the orange juice was not dispensing the proper ratio of water to orange juice. But no, it was good. We got seated outside, and it was a little brisk that morning. But they had the heaters going, and it was a good experience. And the characters came around. We saw Tigger, we saw Chip and Dale, we saw Daisy, Minnie's in the front. So we saw a lot of characters, and we wanted to do a lot of character visits. So it got Hera warmed up to see the characters. Isla did not like it.
She
the
wasn't
youngest.
a fan.
She saw them from afar, and then they move in closer, and then she would just like, like just
you gotta look at it from little babies. Like, this thing is not the normal shape of people,
and it's coming towards me.
Exactly.
She never warmed up to a character. Not once did we ever do that.
So with the character breakfast, do you think, because you did Goofy Kitchen as the family, comparing the two, which one do you like more?
The Goofy one's better.
Yeah.
In the resort. When you're in the park, you just get this anxiousness to like,
I gotta go.
I gotta do.
That's my thing
the
with
park.
the plaza. Is like, I want to do it, but it's like, that's morning. That's like rope drop time. That's like good.
That's good ride time.
That's good ride time.
and it's
one of those things. You have to set your expectations.
Yeah.
Like, what is your goal for your trip? And that's what I wanted to ask is, like, what was the goal? And then you mentioned that it was characters was part of it.
It's more of like, what does my daughter want to do? What is she willing to do? Because she got really scared after riding Dumbo last time.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't trust trains because we took her on Thunder Mountain.
Oh,
She did not like that one bit last time. Like, my daughter was barely like the height. And like, I don't even think I measured her last time. Kind of like, here's the fast. Oh, this isn't working. And then we just like scooted her onto the ride. They're like, all right, I guess she's good. You know, like she was 40 inches. We were being safe, but yeah, she was very cautious about rides because we got her on
Yeah.
Space Mountain last time.
oh,
Yeah, even the picture, you don't even see her eyes. Like, she's so low in that seat. But yeah, so we were like, all right, what are you comfortable with? And it was, so I believe I had the right mentality, but every part of me throughout the trip was struggling because of how we have always done
Right.
it. And it was like,
You handed the reins over to your daughter.
yeah, and also there's just the limitations of having small children
Yep.
in the park,
Yep.
and it's something that we really never did, like having really small ones in the park. Because
Right.
I'm the oldest, so you know, like everybody else, like we didn't go until like Jackie was probably what 5, 6 for the first time.
When we were going regularly.
Regularly, yeah, like for the first time we went, you could ride most of the rides, and we were pushing to ride those rides.
I
There were,
remember
like-
waiting outside of her like Indiana Jones.
yeah, and that's, you know, it can't ride them all, but like this one
Yeah.
was just like, I think we rode like 5 rides, and we were there from 8 o'clock till 11 o'clock.
Oh wow, you did
Oh,
the
wow.
full day.
We missed out at 12. 12 o'clock was closing time, but I mean,
still consider 11. You make it to the 11 o'clock hour. You made it. And I know with the hotel shuttles, sometimes they don't always go to close.
they
So
this one did.
this one did.
Yeah, I wasn't
Okay.
worried about that. But yeah, it was hard for me fighting how we do parks.
Sure.
Just like we're here
It
for
is.
rides,
It
and
is hard.
everything else is supplementary, and we did supplementary, and the rides were like they were there,
Yep.
and that was really hard
To break the mold.
just to be walking around. It's like being at downtown
different
Disney
vibe.
after being in the parks, and you're like, we're not going. We're around all this fun, but you're just here to pick up like Wetzel pretzels and a Mickey hat, and you're just like, oh, this is so hard. I'm
Yep.
so close to all the fun, and I
Yeah.
can't
Yep.
do it. And that's what it felt like as an adult with the kids. You're having great moments,
Yes.
but you're still in parent mode for little kids.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, we went to the Rapunzel story time.
It's a great show.
Great
Love
show.
That show. It's one of my wife's favorite shows.
We did the Beauty and the Beast one later that afternoon.
Yep.
We saw Elsa. We saw Aurora.
Was this just one day in the park or two?
We just did one day.
One day.
Just
Okay.
one day for her birthday, because we knew it was gonna rain the next day.
Right.
And we're like, nope.
Yeah.
I was
We're
tempted.
not.
you know.
We're not going to do that again.
and also, there's not much of California Adventure.
No.
They're like, I don't
not
want to
for
ride
littles.
for your little one.
not for the little ones.
Yeah, it's limited.
And I feel like we're just gonna ride like the merry-go-round at Toy Story Land and
Yeah.
and do Little Mermaid over and over and over.
Yeah. You go to the playground. You go.
And we would go to the playground. And so yeah, we went to Toontown. We did the Mickey's Runaway Train. That was difficult with the 1-year-old.
Yes.
Because she wanted to run through the queue. She's at that phase. I want to run. I want
Oh,
to explore. I
yes.
want to climb. And
How old is she?
She's 20 months.
Okay.
She's like, yeah. So I'm independent. I don't want you holding me. And she just wants to keep going. And so that queue experience was like, all right, let me hold you. And she's just like holding a fish right out of water, just like squirming and fighting. And I'm just like, yeah, kids, just trying to entertain them. You know how many times I did Itsy Bitsy Spider and like Wheels on the Bus? A lot.
Yep.
I never had to like sing that so many times to engage her in something. And so I felt like I was like in parent mode nonstop, and it was
Sure.
like I couldn't be like let's have fun mode.
It's an adjustment
man.
when you have to like take a step back as a parent and be like, this isn't about me, it's about them, and you have to do things that you don't want to do, wrestling kids to keep them still and all that stuff. Oh yeah, it's an adjustment.
It was hard, and there was just the moments where you feel like Ben Affleck, where he's outside and he's like trying to like smoke, like that meme where he's trying to smoke in peace, and you could just tell it's like this is so hard. Like there's just a moment where like, hey hon, I have to use the restroom, and then you walk and you're like, I'm free.
Oh yes.
But this is so hard. I just wish I had more time like this to walk around.
And the thing is, like, I had, like, in the past with several trips and, that I've gone on, I've had my breaking points where I'm just all like, dear, I need to step away.
Yeah.
And I did. She was just, go. I've got the kids. You go. Do what you got to do.
As you're like, you have one of your kids' like feet, and you're holding them into the Tom Sawyer Lake, and you're like, I will drop you.
I was like, I got in line. I did single rider for Matterhorn. And I'm like, okay, you got it out. I got this feeling out, and I went back and enjoyed the rest of my evening.
To understand that Peter's children, they identify Peter, their father, as Mr. Darling.
Mr. Darling.
Being from Peter Pan.
Yes.
So if you want to understand how Peter can be around his children, apparently he turns into Mr. Darling.
Yes, 100%. Yeah.
And so we were just looking for characters, and then I've never spent so much time in Toontown. Never.
Mm-hmm.
The part by...
What time of day?
It was early.
Okay.
Yeah, we did the runaway train, and it was like 10.
That's when you do
10:30.
Yeah,
you do
it's
it
less
later.
crowd.
You do it later, and it gets way bad.
It gets really
I've
busy.
always liked Toontown at night.
Night is a great time to do it as well.
But that's hard.
It's
can
hard
be hard
with
with
little
littles.
children, but
Yeah, we did it at a good time before the nap needed to happen for one of them.
Right.
But I was like, oh, there's this I see other kids running around in open space. Okay, so it's where all the roots are.
Yeah.
In front of Goofy's house.
Yeah.
And it's something as an adult, you're just like, what a waste of space. Like, why do they even have this? And I'm like, in this moment, I'm like, thank goodness.
Yes.
Somebody with little kids
You understands.
Yep. I need somewhere for this kid to just run around.
Yes.
And just be silly.
Yes.
And for this like almost 2-year-old, it was just nice for her just to climb and like jump. And I mean, I'm still in hypervigilant mode, staring at my child
sure.
nonstop because
as you should be.
You don't
need
know
to watch your
people
children.
around.
exactly. There's so many kids and parents around.
But there's that sense of freedom to let your kid do whatever they want. Like I had that moment in my last trip where I just let my youngest, who's 2, just go, and I followed him. And he just did whatever he wanted. And he had the time of his life, and I got to enjoy him enjoying himself. And I'm sure you got to enjoy your daughter enjoying herself, climbing on the tree and all that stuff.
There were little branches, little roots going in and out, and she got that. And then we went into Goofy's house. I haven't been to Goofy's house since it was a bouncy house in '95.
Really fun, the new Goofy house.
There's little buttons and little things, and my oldest was having fun pushing buttons, going down the roller slide, and
well, it's because in the Goofy's house they're making Goofy's candy, the sour balls.
Is that what's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got like a bunch of.
They added a story to merchandise. Surprising, right?
Yeah.
I like how they did
It's
like
cute,
Goofy
though.
movie pictures from the vacation in there. I thought that was really, really fun, and so they got to run around there, and Donald was out there, so I took my daughter to see Donald real quick and sign the book, and we didn't really get to explore. And I go like, "Oh, you want to ride Gadget?" And she was like, "Yeah." And then Mom's like, "Well, let's go here." And I was like, "So we went where Mom wanted to go. We went to we went and did the teacups at that point."
Okay.
And so but that line the queue was way outside the line, and you're just like, oh man, I hate waiting outside of the designated queue area for that attraction.
How was the crowd? You went on a Saturday.
It was on Sunday.
Oh, Sunday.
It was busy.
Yeah.
It was a typical busy day. There wasn't any part where like, wow, we really lucked out. No. It was really busy. And the temperature was like low 70s, but man, when it hit noon, you're just like, where's the shade?
Mm-hmm.
Where can so yeah, we did the teacups, and then I took my daughter to do Pinocchio, where right before we got on the ride, she goes, I'm scared, Dad. I'm really scared of the bad guys. I'm like, all right, well, we'll just close our eyes. And she was like, I don't want to go on this. And I'm like, we're almost done. There's no turning back.
Mm-hmm.
We can always turn back. But I just told her, like,
We're
are so
here.
far in. See all those people? We can't go through that. We have to go forward. She's okay. We get on the ride, and she grabs my hand and puts it right over her face. And like the whole entire time, I'm like, this is the lamest ride. You're in Fantasyland, and you're scared of these bad guys. And yeah, the whole entire was like, do you want me to show you?
Mr. Toad.
Yeah, I was like, well, can't do Snow White, can't do Peter Pan, and I was like, boy, we are really doing the guess who what I can do at this park.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, again, that one hit where I'm like, I can't even do some of these rides at all.
Your kid hasn't been conditioned to that thing yet.
Yeah, she's at that age where she's easily scared.
Yeah.
By like her mind runs away from her. And so, yeah, we did it. She closed her eyes, and I'm like, it's the end. There's no more bad guys. Do you want it? And she was like, no, do not move your hand. Like, she was so firm. And that, like, I will open my eyes when we are getting off the ride. And I was just like, it just set the tone of like, all right, we're doing very safe rides.
Yeah.
We're going to go on the riverboat now.
And the next thing they did the circus train.
Oh, Casey Jr.
Yeah.
We
Oh,
couldn't
she
get her
does
on
the
the
train?
boat because she was scared of the giant whale. She's like, is that the one with the whale? And I'm like, yes, there's a whale. And she's like, I am not doing it. She's like, really?
I
It's
don't
like-
want to be eaten
It's
by
just
a
like,
whale.
that whale's scary. I was like,
To
man.
be fair, it is a scary whale. To be fair.
Yeah.
For a little kid, I think at one point I felt I was intimidated by that whale. I'm sure I was.
It was, yeah, she was.
Now, granted, I don't really remember writing that
We didn't
ride
write it a lot.
No.
When I was
It's
younger.
usually that terrible line, that you kind of go.
If I ain't walking on, I ain't riding it.
Right.
It's not worth it.
I know, like at that time when you could walk on, you're like, I can do this ride and this ride and this ride
Yeah.
way before then. And then it's like the suckers ride, right? Where you're like, only suckers get on that line, when it's not a walk on. Yeah, so they did the circus ride, and my youngest one, she fell asleep. So we had her in the wheelchair.
Which car were you in?
I didn't do it.
Oh,
I
you
was
did.
with the little one. So I had her in the wheelchair. She was like sleeping L-shaped, but we just covered her. And I was like, at that point I was really busy. So I had to like cover her. And like, I was like, I need shade. And sure
'cause
enough,
they got rid of the big tree right by the
Yeah.
train, too.
there's no shade.
Oh, that's
and like
terrible.
all the umbrellas are either in the restaurant area, and you're not gonna be at noon and be like, I'm sorry, I'm here with my sleeping child taking up a whole like umbrella.
And there's not like benches
There
or
are no
anything.
benches. So I ended up going by the Dumbo's picture
Mhm.
station, and the way the sun was hitting it, there was
Yep.
shade going down. And then I parked right there, and when the ride goes, you get a cool breeze. And I sat there. My wife's like, "Why are you there?" And I'm all like, I'll take care to go do something. I can't remember what ride we did, but I think we just did the carousel. And I was like, here, I'll take care, and you stay here with the child. And she's like, this is the best spot ever. And so at that point, later on, the little one wakes up, and then the other one needs to go to sleep. And then we got the hat for your son
Yeah.
for the Mickey ear collection. And then we went and saw the Bell show. But it was like, the queue thing that they do there, it was a mess. They're like, you'll be waiting there, like, actually the line's over there, and you're like, where was this?
Yeah.
And then they don't like you with wheelchairs.
No. With children.
That one with children.
No.
So there is a rule. I did get stopped at Toontown. They're like, excuse me, sir. And I was like, this is going to be stupid. only one passenger per vehicle. And I'm going, don't worry, I own this. And I just walked off. And I was like, I knew he was going to follow me. He's at his position.
Yeah.
And I've walked by so many people, but I was all like, no. And I'm like, that's not even a rule. So the rest of it was like, that's stupid. I got home and I'm all like, it kind of says like single, like mobility device. And I'm like, I guess it's a mobility vehicle. I was like, this is a stupid.
It's to
big
discourage kids on ECVs.
But it's for like, it's also for people who are on wheelchairs that are motorized.
Yeah.
Not just ECV, like kids are steering it.
Oh,
That's
no,
why I
for
stop
like
people.
an adult and a child on ECV.
Yeah, because I do that at Disney World when I work there. I tell them like, hey, you can't have your kid drive it. There's a whole legal thing.
So are they saying that
Even in a wheelchair.
if you're a mother in a wheelchair, you can't hold your child?
Nope.
No.
No.
Wow.
That's
not
how,
supposed
according
to.
to the rule, you cannot.
Yeah.
Did I break that rule in Florida where I was pushing my
That's-
pregnant wife and 2 children on her lap through the hills sometimes? those hills on the Animal Kingdom. Whoa,
That's a
that
tough
was
one to
rough.
enforce. If somebody is legitimately in a wheelchair, that is their life, and to say, "Oh, you can't have your
You can't
child,
hold your child.
It's like what?
That's when I'm all like, it's like, that's stupid. And like, I walk by managers. No manager stopped me.
Most
It's
don't
and it's
care.
my, it's not my wheelchair, but it's your guy.
It's,
Right.
it's not the Disney's.
It's not Disney,
company.
so I'm all like, don't tell me what to do my property. Like, I get it with like ECVs because it's motorized and you don't want kids bumping, but I'm in control of this vehicle. Like, what do you think? I'm going to roll over my kid? I'm walking. Oh, blah, blah, blah,
Take a
blah,
look
blah.
at the stroller people.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's like I'm in control of this. I'm gonna use a wheelchair next time with the 2 kids. They loved it.
Absolutely.
It's
Mhm.
great, and you get a chair.
Yep.
yes.
It's a chair for
A chair.
adults as well. 100. That was the lesson I learned in Florida when I did that. I go, oh, this is great because the kids got a place to sit. I mean, granted, we got it because my wife was pregnant, but like, my wife had a chair to sit. My kids had a place to sit. Heck, my wife pushed me once on it, so I got to enjoy it. So like, yeah, it's 10 times better than you do lose the advantage of sleeping in the stroller.
Yeah, but the kid they all got a little nap out of it,
Right.
more so than they would in like a stroller, I think. And the mobility or the ability to move and maneuver is better in a wheelchair.
I agree.
And when it's time to find a parking space, you like pull the seat up and you're 3 inches wide.
Yep.
And you could slide it in any spot.
Yep.
You could put your backpack there. I was carrying all sorts of things. It was very, very handy.
Yes.
And I didn't have to fight the stroller.
Mhm.
And like, now it's my turn. I'm in the front. I don't want to be in the back. You know,
Right.
like, no, didn't have that.
Sorry, I
that
think you
fight.
used our double stroller.
I did
right?
that, and the little one would be in the front asleep, and the oldest would be like, I don't want to sit in the basket. That's for babies. It's like, whoa, I roll. So yeah, we the kids got their nap, and then we're trying to think what we did. I hung out so much by that castle and
Yep.
watched so many people take stupid selfies. It's
What do you mean by that?
there's the spot, the Kodak spot by the fairy tale like princess area
Yeah.
where I'm waiting because like I think another princess, Elsa popped up and like you got to jump in that line quick or
Yeah.
they shut it down. And so we're just waiting there. You're waiting for like 30, 40 minutes usually for a picture. So I'm sitting there with the little one. I think she was still asleep. And I just watched people and like just the stupid pictures. People like, that one's not good enough. Do this one. And then like they'll sit there, look at the picture. Okay, let's try this angle. And I'm just sitting there going,
It's the Instagram girlies.
it's the Instagram girls that like did all their makeup and they've got the cute outfits on, so they
Yep.
look good. And I'm just sitting there shaking my head. I'm like eating popcorn. It's all in my beard. And I'm just all like, you doing good, baby? Awesome. Keep sleeping. Just like, just people watching and just judging left and right. And people like, you'll see like the characters walk by there too when they're leaving.
Yeah.
And the swarm. And they're like, Snow White's like, bye, nice to see you, and you could just see,
You see
her
them trying to
like,
leave and
bye-bye, bye-bye.
I'm done.
I'm on break. See this? It's not a watch because I'm in character.
I gotta go to the bathroom right now. Please step away.
That's why I wear the yellow dress. Yeah. So at that point, we're just like floating around doing.
So mostly Fantasyland.
We're in Fantasyland. I never once went into Adventureland.
Okay. No Haunted Mansion.
No tiki room?
No Haunted Mansion. No pirates.
Did you go to Tiana?
I did.
Okay.
We got a fast pass for that. Honestly, we shouldn't even gotten fast pass pass because we only used one, and we got Hera one, and then last minute she goes, I don't want to go, and we're like, okay, cool, you're not going, I'll go. Like, I'm not fighting you. If you're hesitating before we even get on, I don't even want to bother.
Right.
And so I went on it, and like Peter, you said, you rush right through.
Mm-hmm.
It's the quickest ride, and I'm just like, I didn't even get a chance to digest it.
Yep.
Did it? How was the wet experience?
I purposely went for the fifth seat.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
That's where I go.
Because
That's the driest seat.
it was 6:30 and it was cold.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to be
I wanna be in
wearing
the back.
jeans
Put me in
with
the back.
wet jeans.
I mean, I was wearing like just like a pair of slacks, just cotton, but I know if like it gets wet, I'm
you're
gonna
gonna be there
freeze.
for a long time. Yeah.
The fast pass, I walked right on. I was in there within like 5 minutes. I was on the ride. The queue for that was nuts.
Oh, I
Oh,
bet it
really?
was.
It was
I bet
like it was an 85-minute wait,
Ooh.
and people are just, you could just see the misery, and you're walking through in that queue, and you're like, oh, let me look at the pictures. I'm like, oh, that's so cool,
Right.
but you really don't get to suck it in as much because you're like, oh, I gotta keep going because you're getting the evil eye. Like, it's all like, kid, you were in the wrong neighborhood. There ain't no moseying around in this neighborhood. Get your gumbo and go. You know, it was just, yeah. See, just jump in. Unfortunately, I had a 5-year-old kid that was really excited, and she had a scream frequency the same as my child, my 1-year-old screaming.
Right.
It hurt my ears, so I had my ears plugged in for most of the time because she just did the random screaming, and every part of me was fighting. It's like, don't be that old man. It's like, can you shut your child up? You're ruining my experience. I have to talk about this on my podcast. I was just like, you're ruining this. But I'm all like, but as Peter said, like, you go on it and you're just like, I'm worried about getting wet. And it's weird riding with people that are not you, because like I was trying to protect myself, and I was like, put my hands up and lift my legs up, and I accidentally touched the lady in front of me, and I was like, I'm so sorry, I accidentally touched you. Like, because usually riding with family, you're like, you bump into it, but when you're a stranger, you're like, I'm this person by themselves.
I promise I'm not creepy.
I have this giant beard that looks like I'm a Muppet, and like, hello. The girl behind me screaming all the time, and I'm going to touch you. I was like, I immediately apologized. Like, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to touch you. I got scared of the water. And she's like, okay.
You're the old man in the back, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the lightsaber picture we took with that explains his expression on that
People
picture.
are ruining my Splash Mountain experience. I just didn't want to be that guy, but I totally had that moment in my head of like, you are ruining this for me. I wanted to, and I was like, don't do it. There was a fight inside me, and I'm just like, oh, you're getting old. It's like, your kid's annoying me. So yeah, I did the ride. It was good. I didn't even look at the picture because because you have your wife with the kids. You're like, I gotta go get my kids, and they were playing over in the play area in Toontown. Like I said, I made that walk back and forth.
That's a huge trip.
I was walking back and forth. Like, we were in Toontown.
Which route did you go? Through Star Wars?
Star Wars Land.
So were you the only one to ride it?
I was the only one to ride it. I tried to get my wife, and she's like, I'll ride another time. It's okay. She's like, how was it? I'm all like, it's like Splash Mountain. Just some Tiana and some songs. You're just rushed through, and you spend more time waiting to get off the log than you do on the ride.
Do you think it would be better to ride it twice in one trip to get a more
I think
feel
so.
of it?
I didn't have enough time to digest it.
Yeah.
Really, you're just...
And you weren't even hassling with children other than the one
I wasn't.
screaming.
So the one screaming. It's not even my own.
But yeah, yep. They just kind of push you on, and you just, it flies real fast, and you're just like, okay, now this is happening, and this is happening, and oh, look, there's a giant Tiana face.
Do you think there's too much story?
No.
I think there's lack of explanation of the story.
And I think the Imagineers may not be taking into account what a one-time writer experience is, because they write it, 50 million times, and I know what's going on here. I know what's going on here. But for anybody that's a one-time writer, it's like it's a big blur.
The first time writing a ride, it kind of reminded me when I was in like Disneyland Paris, where I'm like, I'm not familiar with this. It is familiar, but isn't familiar. So the only thing I was familiar with was just the track system, but like the whole ride and story, it just threw me off. And then at the end, Mama, what was her name?
Mama Odie.
Mama Odie. Yeah, she wasn't working. So
Yeah.
you see this like hollow face thing, and you're like, this is just creepy.
Consistently not been working lately.
Oh, man.
You hear the voice going, but there ain't no lights on. You're like, Mama Odie, are you there? I'm here in spirit.
In that case, a projection may have been better. They might have the
Even if it was like a mere Mama Odie's just talking through it with a projection, it would have been better than seeing this like shell of an animatronic.
Yeah.
That's a shame for something that's just that new.
Yeah. So I made it back to the kids, and we got popcorn. You know guess how many times we got popcorn?
Oh, I bet you got it all day long.
Did you get the bucket to refill?
We got a
it?
bucket, but they don't refill the bucket.
That's a Disney World thing. They don't do that at Disneyland.
Oh, they don't do it at Disneyland?
No, you just get a regular box, and it fills it up to the top anyways. It is no difference in size. You're just paying for more plastic. You're paying for plastic.
Yep.
But when you get the box and you have the container, you can share with the two kids to where they're getting a fair amount. And so I think we bought 4 things of popcorn.
So is that all you guys ate was popcorn?
We did popcorn. We did ice cream. We got the Cracker Jack rainbow stuff. Didn't know that the dye had Red 40 in there.
Oop.
Then the kid went nuts. She was just like, "Ah!" And you're like, what is
This is when we go to Tom Sawyer's Island.
Is this a popcorn?
It's a popcorn.
Oh, okay.
It's like a rainbow popcorn, but it's Cracker Jack
Okay.
with rainbow color. Yeah, ate a lot of popcorn.
No churro?
I got a churro. The kids ate it. They were fine with it. They didn't go crazy for it.
You didn't get a bite.
I did.
Oh, okay.
I'm the one that bought it, and I was like, I guess I got to share it with you guys. So yeah, did that. Got a chimichanga. I had to hunt it down.
Yeah.
Where is it?
It's they sell it right next to the boat, the loading dock.
At Frontierland.
It's not in a cart anymore. It's against like the marketplace that they have there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it became nighttime. We were just floating around. We weren't riding rides. It was just a weird we finally made it to I did do Autopia with the kid.
That's right.
And
I saw pictures, yeah.
And
fun.
I was like, you get to drive the car, and she's like, okay. And she got to be in there, and that was really cool.
Yes.
She lit up. It was one of those we're making a real good memory here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it did change perhaps my vote on eliminating Autopia.
Autopia.
Because looking at her expression was just golden, that she is really enjoying herself.
She was enjoying it. She was in charge, and she was just she was first let me do this. And I'm like, it's just little changes. You don't need to do a lot of jerking the wheel. And I hold down the gas, but she got to drive, and she felt like a big kid.
Aww.
It was like a real good rite of passage for a kid to ride Autopia.
It absolutely is.
And so that was a good moment. At that point, we went and got food, and then that's when the meltdowns were happening. And so it's so funny. We went and got a burger, and they're like, oh, you can add cheese to it. And then we got the order, and it was just a burger. And I was like, hey, we got a burger with cheese. And they're like, why didn't you order a cheeseburger? And I'm all like, well, you had the option for a burger to add cheese, so we got that option. And she's like, well, next time. And the lady, somebody came up, and it's all like, oh, yeah, we can do that. And I'm all like, And I just looked at her. I was all like, you suck. Like, I was like, you are not a very good Disney person right now. I know what it looks like. I've been in your shoes. And then I came in there and I was like, do you guys have any straws? You didn't get a straw from me? And I'm like, no, that's why I'm asking you for a straw.
Because this is what I like to do in my spare time. Go up to cast members, ask for straws, even though I have a straw.
I like to harass food service because I know I would turn down this position. I would actually do janitorial over food service. I just want to really punch down at the Disney hierarchy of employees. Like, it was just like, I hate interacting with you. But somehow I was just attracted to asking her for all my problems.
Where did you eat?
The Cosmic at that point. And it was getting cold. And of course, my wife didn't pack her coat. So I lost my coat to her. And the kids were freezing because they have jackets, but they didn't want to wear them. But so we had to go get a blanket at that point. Yeah. And what else did we end up doing? Tess convinced Hera to ride the teacups at night. And that was another fun nighttime experience. And at that point, Hera got out and was just like, I'm done. They're like, once we leave, we're done. Yeah, I'm good. Let's go. Let's go to the hotel. I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. Like, she was just like so firm. It's like, we can go to Winnie the Pooh. And she's like, no, I don't want to. I'm ready to go to sleep right now. And so you're like, all right.
And then you get back to the hotel and she's jumping on the bed. And I'm like,
no, she was out. She slept. Oh, yeah. She was lifeless, like getting on that bus. I did get a picture of my youngest. Fireworks were going off at that time. And so I got a picture of her looking at them. Because she was, at that point, I had to like, here's my phone. And she's like on YouTube. Yeah. She's like, oh, I just want to get entertained and decompress. But I got her to look up and she was like watching the fireworks show. And she was like, this was awesome. So if you see fireworks in the pictures that we shared, there's like a little kid in that's that moment. Okay. And so it's kind of like, wow, the perspective of a parent watching their kid take in the magic of it. I'm not a big fireworks fan, but you know, I think for kids, it's a good special thing. We did ride the carousel one last time, so it was cool. I finally got the little one.
Teacups, twice on the carousel.
Yes, carousel was a big one. I think we rode carousel 3 times. But like I got the little one on when she would not get on the horse, but I finally got her on and she held on to that thing. And then she like, all right, this one's cool. I can trust this one. So it was fun that she got to ride with me and that. But we walked out with everybody else and it was a good night, but a good day, but it was the magic that we do with our family growing up was not there. And there was this weird part of like grieving that the Disneyland experience I have was not experienced here. We're like, no Haunted Mansion, no pirates, no jungle. Like, I wouldn't have done a mountain if I didn't have a fast pass.
Right.
And like Star Wars didn't do that. It's just like, yeah, we did Dumbo at night too. That was like, we only did like 5 or 6 rides. And it's just a weird feeling
that you didn't get to experience all of the park. Yeah.
I just, yeah. And I mean, there was really cool. Like, I got to find like, where's shade? Where can I protect my children? Where can I find a bench?
Yes.
Oh, I need to get
ticket attractions.
Yeah, I was like, man, the shade and bench options are. I think that's like the one thing you don't want on the app, but you want to find out. Like, this is my secret spot, and I probably will never tell you my other secret spot on the podcast because I was like, no, this is mine. Yep. Get your own. Yep. I don't want you stealing it.
Yep.
But it was good. It was fun to create a surprise birthday, and I had to set the expectation: you will never do this again, and you will never have another birthday as good as this one. I just laid it out there. It's like, this is the best birthday you will ever have, and she's like, okay.
It's all downhill.
I was like, it's downhill.
She's like, thanks, Dad.
Like, next year, you'll be surprised if anybody remembers your birthday.
For your birthday, you're doing the dishes. You know?
You are now Cinderella before Fairy Godmother.
Just soak it up now. This is it. This is peak life right here.
That's your princess dress. Cinderella before the ball.
Yeah.
Do you think it was worth surprising her?
I think she appreciated it. With all the hard work and the fallout, I don't recommend bringing small kids to the park. I really don't.
It's one of you have to manage your expectations.
Even I really worked on it, and even when you're in it, you're just like, this stinks. It's like being in a diet and you're in a buffet, and you're just like, and it's all the best foods you really like, and all the desserts, and you're like, nope, you can't have it. You can have this cabbage. It's been boiled, and you're like, I don't want boiled cabbage. I want the filet mignon and then the unlimited sizzler, sprinkled ice cream that will make me sick of it when I eat too much of it.
Right, and it's one of those things.
It's so hard.
I mean, you've got obviously you got your 1-year-old, and then you have a 5-year-old who doesn't have a lot of experience when it comes to going to theme parks and doing that thing. Because I saw that firsthand on my last trip with my kids and then with my sister's kids, where like they don't go that often, and like my kids were like angels on that trip. Like they went on everything. There was no complaining. There was no fighting. They knew what to do, who they were going to sit with. Like they knew everything. Whereas like, my sister's kids, they were just kind of like all over the place. I don't want to ride that. It was just like, you get that unexpectedness when they're not conditioned to that yet.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's definitely one of those things. Like when you're bringing children to the parks, it's going to take several visits for them to get used to that mindset. Because I imagine when we were younger, I'm sure like when we went to Disney World, we were probably horrid monsters.
I don't remember being.
There were moments, because we
I'm
were
sure I
dealing
was.
with
You get burned out.
The heat and the humidity
Right.
was so intense, which made everybody cranky, and so you were all cranky together, and so that created some fireworks because we're from the dry heat, not the humid heat,
Right.
and so there was some of that. But other than that, everybody was pretty good.
There was only a few moments where Dad had to threaten to take my money to be nice to you. I won't give you my money. I won't give you any money.
I won't give you any Disney dollars.
No money. You can't buy any Legos. No. Yeah, I don't want to say, like, if you want to have a special memory, we accomplished that.
Yes.
Yeah.
The pictures and videos
Looked great.
Look
They're-
great.
they are.
Those are going to be
And
the
that's what my
things-
wife wanted, so she's happy. But
Yeah.
me, I'm sitting there going, but what about me?
But the thing is, you're going to you will look back on this trip and not remember that feeling that you're talking about right now.
Yeah.
Unless you listen to this podcast again.
I do it because I'm masochistic. Torture me one more time. Bring up the bad memories.
But as you go more and more, you'll just remember the good times.
And your children will only see those pictures and go, "Oh, I remember that. That was so fun."
Yeah, there were some really good moments where I was with my kids, and I felt present, with all the chaos of like the world with politics and the economy. It was nice to just like, it was one
Step
day
away.
where
Yeah.
I truly felt like the world is outside, and it felt really good. But I recognize it's like I couldn't like, you can't live here forever in this
Sure.
escape. But it was nice to just breathe and reset. But the problem with trying to reset is like you're still in dad mode, you're
Yep.
still in parent mode, and that's
Yep.
really, really hard. And
Yep.
and for me and my wife, we got out and it was like, yeah, we're not going for a while. Like we felt like we could, like, maybe it'll be different this time. And it's like, no, it's not. Like, I want the kids, like, we did the kid experience of having fun here, doing their thing, but we need to have a family experience.
Correct.
And so the kids need to be older before we go again.
Sure.
However, was it easier the time before when you had multi-families there together to kind of share the load in some sense?
Yes. And when we were there, and that's where we had the rainy day, and we're like, man, this is so much harder. We're fighting, and we wanted this day because we wanted to have our own day, but we felt it was the rain that ruined it. But really, it's the kids that ruined it. No, it's our expectations, and it's more of like, I want to share in these fun experiences with the different rides, and it didn't really happen when you're like, your kid goes, I'm scared of Pinocchio, and you're like, oh.
So that
really sets the bar of like, I can't do anything, and I have to come up with entertaining you, feeding you, and keeping you in the park as long as I can, because I want my money's worth.
Yep.
I'm not doing the plaza where I pay $50, eat 3 sausages and some cold eggs. The eggs weren't cold, but it got cold.
Yeah.
And you're just like, and now I have maple syrup in my beard. You know, like, I'm getting my money's worth out of this. All right.
Right.
There's too much effort. And
so for younger children, you may want to go with more family, with more adults to kind of give you time.
That leads to kind of my next question. If you were to kind of go back in time, go back in planning, knowing what you know now, and you are going on a trip, you can't be like, no, I'm not going.
I think part of me was like, no, we need to wait. Like,
no, but like going with your girls at this age,
what would I do different?
Would you add another day? Would you invite someone with you to help?
We've done that. Like we've invited some our nieces and nephews to be like, hey, you want to come help be our babysitter? And they're like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, but when you have other people, you're kind of like taking them into consideration. And I really didn't want to take anybody else.
Sure.
Well,
Yeah.
If this was a birthday celebration,
I really wanted just to focus on it.
Sure.
So the goal was that it's hard to say I would change any. I mean, if I could change something, I'd probably buy a big old Harkins bag of popcorn and pull that in. I would have saved myself like $50 worth of popcorn.
Yeah.
Who would have known like a 1-year-old could put down boxes of popcorn?
Yes,
I just kept saying, like, I don't want to change your diaper. Like, I do not want a popcorn diaper.
There's going to be a lot of kernels in that.
It's just like, oh, this car ride. You're just like, please, on a rest stop, be ready to go to the bathroom. I don't know. I just can't say if there's one thing I do, but I wouldn't get the fast pass stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't have gotten that option. Be willing to go with the flow and just realize you're not going to ride the rides that you want if you're going without assistance.
Now, you're saying you're not getting the fast passes because you had little children who aren't really going to use the fast pass.
Well, even with my wife, my wife's like, we're going to get the fast pass. I was like, why are we going to get the fast pass? It seems like a waste of money. And then she's like, well, I'll just get it anyway. It's part of like the photo pass thing.
Right.
And I was and that's what she wanted, was the photo pass stuff.
Right.
But what was fun was just chasing down the characters.
Yeah.
My daughter's like, there's Captain Hook. And like, we're trying to run. And I'm like holding the baby and pushing the wheelchair.
Who shined as a character for you that really, really performed their part well? Was there somebody that stood
your
out?
favorite interaction character?
Captain Hook was pretty cool. I liked seeing him, and we saw the Evil Queen walk around. And although my daughter didn't really interact with her, I really liked watching. I saw her twice, and I thought she was really cool to see like just a sassy character run around.
Yeah,
She's always good. Meredith is always great.
Yeah, I miss Meredith this time. I think she's a fun one. I've seen her in the past. But yeah, it's hard to say. But would I recommend it? It was really fun. It is a special moment. I know my kid's gonna really appreciate it. But like as a parent, I was like, it really was hard to take a back seat and just deal with it. Mm-hmm. And so that's where I'm like, you're in this grieving, but then you're in this like, well, there's this and it's special and it is. And like you said, Peter, I think it's just going to take time, and I will have the grieving part will go away.
It will, and your kids will become more conditioned, and your kids will all be able to ride the rides, and they won't be afraid of Pinocchio anymore.
Yeah, that one really hurt. I was like, oh no, I can't even ride Mr. Toad right now. So yeah, that's trip. We made it back. The kids were good in the car. We did Downtown Disney the next day. That was hard leaving there because Hera knew that the park was right there, and that she wanted to go, and so there was a fight. And when we were leaving, it was time for her nap too. And it was
it's if you're going to end with children, it's best to end at Disneyland when you're leaving the park and you go to the hotel and you don't go back.
You don't come back. Going back to, because we're like, oh, we can pick up some things on our way out, and we don't have to deal with like rush hour traffic.
Usually we'll grab Wetzel's and then like
grab some food and then you
that's
go.
a good snack in the car.
Yeah, it was a fight, and we had a couple meltdowns where we had to like talk the 4-year-old down. And you're like, it's okay, it's all right. You're having all these emotions, so. Yeah, and then part of me is like, well, let's just buy a ticket and go to California. But I'm like, no, we're not spending money to solve our problems and escape and calling out sick the next day.
Yeah.
So Disneyland 2025, did you notice anything different?
Nope.
Or all the procedures were pretty much the same?
Same.
Felt the same that way?
Nothing felt different from the previous year. I miss seeing Lincoln.
Yeah.
It's shut down, and then Small World was shut down at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so, other than that, everything else was up and running.
Was it you mentioned a cast member that kind of let you down? Was there a cast member that kind of shined?
No,
No, okay.
no.
Other than
Just
saying,
the normal
you can
cast
have
member,
cheese.
like, you can't sit there, and that one really bugged me. And I'm like, who are you to tell me? And then I'm walking away, and I'm like, oh no, I'm that guest. I'm that guy.
What goes around comes around.
I was that person that's all like, screw you, I'll do whatever I want. Come and get me. I was very defiant. It's like, no, this is mine. Don't tell me what to do. Granted, I'm reading a lot of American Revolutionary books, so I'm like, don't tread on me. I bought a ticket. This is mine. You don't get to tell me what to do, King George III.
And right before we started recording, Jackie was mentioning, he says, a lot of people are getting kicked out of the parks recently.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was gonna get kicked out.
No.
But
It's like, no. I just remember someone telling me, and I was like, I know the rules are right. You don't tell me. And I looked it up, and I was like, wow, he was right. Okay.
that is a rule.
I had to look really hard to find that rule. And I was like, that's kind of murky and like legal jargon. And I was like,
It's
yeah.
just a layer protection to protect Disney, so in case kid falls off the wheelchair
Right.
while being held, they're like, I'm gonna sue Disney, and Disney's like, no.
Yeah, and that's what I figured. But I was all like, well, come and get me. Tell me not to do it. I'm going to put my kid back in there. You're not going to chase me down for it. It's like wheelchairs are not the real threat. It's the ECVs with parents like, yeah, you get to drive. You're 5 years old. It's Autopia with the ECV and no
Yeah.
guardrails. No. That's where it goes on.
Yeah. But yeah, it sounds like you had mixed emotions this year.
I had mixed emotions. Everybody else loved it. I'm the
Yeah.
one that's all like,
The photographs and videos look
they're really great.
fantastic.
Yeah.
They make
Yes.
me like, I put them on and I'm like, wow, that was great.
And we'll try to share those on our social media so you can see the magic that the
Yeah.
girls had experienced. And let us know your comments. Do you have any questions about bringing young kids to the park? Or do you-
bringing grumpy parents to the park.
I had an old manager that, I'm the grumpy one. Yeah, don't bring me. I had a manager who said, if you can't walk the whole day without being held, you don't get to come to the park. So she didn't bring her kids to the park, like being an employee,
member.
a cast member, till they were like 8. She's like, I
can't
will
go
not
to-
hold you. I will not bring a stroller. Oh, she goes all the time by herself.
I can't. I don't qualify anymore.
You don't get. I have to sit down. I can't do this anymore.
I cannot
I cannot
last
do
the
a
whole
whole
day.
day.
No, not without sitting down.
The open to close. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
tough, but we made it pretty far. I was surprised.
Yeah. But let us know if you have any questions or tips for a Disney trip with young kids. You can follow us on all of our social medias, Facebook, Instagram, X. But with that being said, have a magical day.
Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of the Matterhorn Yodelers. Please remember, before your bobsled comes to a complete stop, to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And remember,
Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.